Everyone. Welcome back. Section 89 of Sambhava Parv continued. Yayati said, I am Yayati, the son of Nahusha and the father of Puru, cast off from the regions of the celestials and of Siddhas and Rishis for having disregarded every creature. I am falling down, my righteousness having sustained dominion. In years I am older than you, therefore I have not saluted you first. Indeed, the Brahmanas always reverence him who is older in years or superior in learning or in ascetic merit. Ashtaka then replied, Thou sayest, O monarch, that he who is older in years is worthy of regard. But it is said that he is truly worthy of worship who is superior in learning and ascetic merit. Yayati replied to this. It is said that sin destroyeth the merits of four virtuous acts. Vanity containeth the element of that which leadeth to hell. The virtuous never follow in the footsteps of the vicious. They act in such a way that their religious merit always increaseth. I myself had great religious merit, but all that, however, is gone. I will scarcely be able to regain it even by my best exertions. Beholding my fate, he that is bent upon achieving his own good would certainly suppress vanity. He who, having acquired great wealth, performeth meritorious sacrifices, who, having acquired all kinds of learning, remaineth humble, and who, having studied the entire Vedas, devoteth himself to asceticism with a heart withdrawn from all mundane enjoyments, goeth to heaven. None should exult in having acquired great wealth. None should be vain of having studied the entire Vedas. In the world of men are of different dispositions. Destiny is supreme. Both power and exertion are all fruitless. Knowing destiny to be all powerful, the wise, whatever their portions may be, should neither exult nor grieve. When creatures know that their weal and their woe are dependent on destiny and not on their own exertion of power, they should neither grieve nor exult, remembering that destiny is all powerful. The wise should never live contented, neither grieving at woe nor exulting at weal. When destiny is supreme, both grief and exultation are unbecoming. O Ashtaka, I never suffer myself to be overcome by fear, nor do I ever entertain grief, knowing for certain that I shall be in the world that the great disposer of all hath ordained. Insects and worms, all oviparous creatures, vegetables, existence, all crawling animals, vermin, the fish in the water, stones, grass, wood, in fact, all created things, when they are freed from the effects of their acts, are united with the Supreme Soul. Happiness and misery are both transient. Therefore, O Ashtaka, why should I grieve? We can never know how we are to act in order to avoid misery. Therefore, none should grieve for misery. Possessed of every virtue, King Yayati, who was the maternal grandfather of Ashtaka, while staying in the welkin at the conclusion of his speech, was again questioned by Ashtaka. The latter said, O King of Kings, tell me in detail of all those regions that thou hast visited and enjoyed, as well as the period for which thou hast enjoyed each. Thou speakest of the precepts of religion, even like the clever masters acquainted with the acts of saying of great beings. Yayati replied, I was a great king of earth, owning the whole world for my dominion. Leaving it, I acquired by dint of religious merit many high regions. There I dwelt for a full 1,000 years, and then I attained a very high region of abode of Indra, of extraordinary beauty, having 1,000 gates and extending over 100 yojanas all around. There too I dwelt a full 60,000 years and then attained to a higher region still. That is the region of perfect beatitude, where decay never exists, the region that is that of creator of the Lord of the earth, so difficult of attainment. There also I dwelt for a full 1,000 years, and then attained to another very high region, that is the region of the God of gods, Vishnu, where too I have lived in happiness. Indeed, I dwelt in the various regions, adorned by all the celestials, and possessed of prowess and splendor equal unto those of celestials themselves. Capable of assuming any form at will, I lived for 1,000,000 years in the gardens of Narada, sporting with the apsaras and beholding numberless beautiful trees clad in flowery vestures and sending forth delicious perfumes all round. And after many, many years had elapsed, while still residing there in enjoyment of perfect beatitude, the celestial messenger of grim visage one day in loud and deep voice thrice shouted to me, "Ruined, ruined, ruined! O lion amongst kings, this much do I remember. I was then fallen from Nandana, my region's merit gone. I heard on the skies, O king, the voices of the celestials exclaiming in grief, Alas, what a misfortune! Yayati, with his religious merit destroyed through virtuous and of sacred deeds, is falling. And as I was falling, I asked them loudly, where, ye celestials, are those wise ones amongst whom I am to fall? They pointed out to me the sacred sacrificial region belonging to you. Beholding the curls of smoke blackening the atmosphere and smelling the perfume of clarified butter poured incessantly upon fire, and guided thereby, I am approaching this region of yours, glad at heart that I come amongst you. Section 90. Sambhava Parv continued. Ashtaka said, capable of assuming any form at will, thou hast lived for 1,000,000 years in the gardens of Nandana. For what cause, O foremost of those that flourished in the Karita age, hast thou been compelled to leave that region that come hither? Yayati answered, as kinsmen, friends, and relatives forsake in this world those whose wealth disappears, so in other worlds the celestials with Indra as their chief forsake him who had lost his righteousness. Ashtaka said, I am extremely anxious to know how in the other world men lose virtue. Tell me also, O king, what regions are attainable by what course of action? Thou art acquainted, I know, with the acts of saints, of great beings. Yayati answered, O pious one, they that speak of their own merit are doomed to suffer the hell called Bahuma. Though really emaciated and lean, they appear to grow on earth in the shape of their sons and grandsons, only to become food of vultures, dogs, and jackals. Therefore, king, this highly censurable and wicked vice should be repressed. I have now, O king, told thee all. Tell me what more shall I say? Ashtaka said, when a life is devoted with age, vultures, peacocks, insects, and worms eat up the human body. Where doth man then reside? How does he also come back to life? I have never hell, heard of any hell called Bahuma on earth. Yayati answered, after the dissolution of the body, man, according to his acts, re entered the womb of his mother and stayed there in an indistinct form, and soon after assuming a distinct and visible shape, reappeareth in the world and walketh on its surface. This is the earth hell, Bahuma, where he falleth, for he beholdeth not the termination of his existence, and acteth not towards his emancipation. Some dwell for 60,000 years, some for 80,000 years in heaven, and then they fall. And as they fall, they are attacked by certain Rakshasas in the form of sons, grandsons, and other relatives that withdraw their hearts from acting for their own emancipation. Ashtaka asked, "For what sin are beings, when they fall from heaven, attacked by their fierce and sharp toothed Rakshasas? Why are they not reduced to annihilation? How do they again enter the womb, furnished with senses?" Yayati answered, "After falling from heaven and being becometh a subtle substance living in water, this water becometh the semen, whence is the seed of vitality. Thence entering the mother's womb, in the womanly season, it dependeth upon the embryo, and next into the visible life like the fruit from the flower. Entering trees, plants, and other vegetable substances, water, air, earth, and space, the same watery seed of life assumeth the quadruple or bipedal form. This is the case where all the creatures that you see." Ashtaka said, "O tell me, I ask thee because I have my doubts. Doth a being that hath received a human form enter the womb in its own shape or in any other? How doth it also acquire its distinct and visible shape, eyes and ears and consciousness as well? Question by me, oh, explain it all. Thou art, O Father, one acquainted with the acts and sayings of great beings." Yayati answered, "According to the merits of one's act, the being that is subtle from co-inherence in the seed that is droppeth into the womb is attacked by the atmospheric force of purpose of rebirth. In then developeth there in course of time. First, it becomes the embryo, is next provided with a visible physical organism. Coming out of the womb is due course of time, it becometh conscious of its existence as man, and with his ears becometh sensible of sound, with his eyes of colour and form, and with his nose of scent, with his tongue of taste, and by his whole body of touch, and by his mind of his ideas. It is thus, O Ashtaka, that the gross and the visible body develop from the subtle essence. Ashtaka asked, "After the death, the body is burnt or otherwise destroyed, reduced to nothing upon such dissolution. By what principle is one revived?" Yayati said, "O lion amongst kings, the person that dies assumes a subtle form, and remaining consciousness of all his acts as in a dream, he enters some other form with a speed quicker than that of air itself. The virtuous attain to a superior, and the vicious to an inferior form of existence. The vicious become worms and insects. I have nothing more to say. O thou of great and pure soul, I have told thee how beings are born, and after development of embryonic forms, as 4-footed, 6-footed creatures, and others with more feet. What more wilt you ask me?" Ashtaka said, "How, O Father, do men attain to those superior regions whence there is no return to earthly life? Is it by asceticism or by knowledge? How also can one gradually attain to felic- felicious regions? Ask by me, O answer it in full." Yayati answered, "The wise say that of men there are 7 gates through which admission may be gained into heaven. There are asceticism, benevolence, tranquility of mind, self command, modesty, simplicity, and kindness to all creatures. The wise also say the person loseth all these in consequence of vanity. That man who, having acquired knowledge, regardeth himself as learned, and with his learning destroyeth the reputation of others, never attaineth the regions of indestructible felicity. That knowledge also doth not make its possessor competent to attain to Brahma. Study, taciturnity, worship before fire, and sacrifices, these 4 remove all fear. When, however, these are mixed with vanity, instead of removing it, they cause fear. The wish should never exult at receiving honors, nor should they grieve at insults. For it is the wise alone that honors the wise. The wicked never act like the virtuous. They have given away so much. I have given away so much. I have performed so many sacrifices. I have studied so much. I have observed these vows. With such vanity is the foot, is the root of fear. Therefore, thou must not indulge in such feelings. Those learned men who accept as their support the unchangeable, inconceivable Brahma alone that ever showeth blessings on persons virtuous like thee, enjoy perfect peace here and thereafter. With this, we come to an end to this section of Mahabharat. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Stay healthy always. Narayan, Narayan.